Ahoy hoy, how's it going? Voiceover Lewis here. So, before we get into the video, I wanted to explain what it is. I went out on the bike, basically to write myself an open letter. I've reached a point where I needed to get my own feelings out, hear them out loud, so I can understand them and make sure I'm actually heading in the right direction. This video is not meant to come across as preachy, and I'm not trying to tell anyone else how they should be living. This is purely my own thoughts directed at myself, and a bit of an explanation as to why I'm on this journey. So, let's get into the video. I have, over the last few years, got myself into what I call a cage. I've probably neglected a few personal relationships, friendships, and even family relationships as well. You know, when you get stuck into work, you put blinkers on a little bit, I think. I've been trying to pull myself back. You know, I had a goal a few years ago where I wanted to be in, say, 5-10 years, and I can definitely say now that that goal has completely changed. It's not even remotely what I want now. As I've gotten older and the more I've done things, and I started realising that actually work is not as important as I used to think. Genuinely, there was a period where I was so unwell because of how stressed I was through work. It gave me no pleasure anymore. I totally lost the passion I had for the things I did. When I was younger, I used to race speedway, and as I was a little bit older, I raced superstock, and I quit both of those to concentrate purely on my job. And at the time, it was probably what I thought was the right thing to do, but looking back, I know that it wasn't the right thing to do, and I do regret what I did. I really tried to focus on, basically just focus on work and make that my main priority, because I felt like that was what I needed to be doing all the time, and I drove myself to almost like breaking point. I had burnout all the time. There was no gain from working hard other than financially, but that doesn't really mean anything really at the end of the day, you know. How you should really feel is focused purely on your own joy and the things that you enjoy doing. And that's, I would argue, that's one of the reasons why, I would argue that's probably the main reason why I've started this channel. One of them was to just document the things that I'm doing with my motorcycles, but also it was giving me a slight drive to do it as well. I'm treating it as a complete hobby. I'm not trying to make it something that, I don't want to make it like a source of income. I don't want to make it a job. I don't want to make it anything other than me having a bit of fun, because as soon as that fun comes out of it, that's when it all kind of goes a bit pot, and I don't want that. I need to be able to differentiate between working and the things I do for enjoyment. I used to feel guilty when I wasn't working for an afternoon, or I used to feel guilty even weekends when I wasn't doing something for work. Like, it was a really unhealthy, like, frame of mind. It just wasn't good for me at all. I always see this sort of statement that people used to say, and it was, if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind, which I kind of disagree with more, really. You know, like, forward isn't an absolute term. Like, progress is entirely taking you to where you want to be. Now, where you want to be might be where you were once before. It can be just where you want to be. The most important thing is getting myself to where I want to be, and I know it's not working all the time. It just isn't. It's not healthy for me. Like today, for example, I've taken today off to do this, because this is what I'm gonna class as my hobby, making videos. And I'm excited to do it, and I want to be able to concentrate on doing these things, because they make me happy, and it's fun. And that's the main thing. There's no pressure for it. I'm just having fun. I'm just making videos, playing my motorbikes, doing what I want to do, just having a bit of fun, and there's no pressure to have any sort of like achievement from it. It's purely just enjoyment based, and I need to really drive that into myself. Now that I have this channel, I'm classing it as an outlet for myself, a sort of creative outlet. because there is a lot of things that I want to be doing creatively, and I feel like that's one of the things that I lacked on the most. I never materialised the things that I wanted to create because, well, one, I was too scared to do it. Two, I was too busy to do it. Or I wasn't even too busy, I was just too focused on the wrong thing. I kept telling myself I was too busy, but it wasn't that I was too busy. It was purely, I could never make myself do it because I felt like I was doing the wrong thing. I felt like I was focusing my energy on the wrong thing because it wasn't providing me with, you know, an income, or it wasn't moving the business in the right direction or whatever. And that was total nonsense. I should never have felt like that. Your hobbies should never make you feel like you're not doing the right thing. So I tell myself all the time that I should not be constrained to just sources of income. Do things that are going to cost you money. Do things that are going to make you no money. Do things that are going to take you nowhere, you know, professionally. Just do fun things. So I can't wait to, like, just spend time creating stuff, and I can't wait to show it with people. That's exciting as well, is showing everybody. One benefit to motorcycles is you get to do this. But at the end of the day, only person that's responsible for me is me. And making these decisions to do these things for myself was hard. And it felt not great, I'll be honest with you. But at the same time, it needed to happen. The roadworks in Glasgow right now are unbelievable. They're everywhere. Every road you go into, it's just roadworks somewhere. It's crazy. Apologies if it looks really choppy. I just struggle to get all my thoughts out in one go and make it sound remotely normal. I left school really early. I didn't even do my exams, so I left school with no exams, and I just did my speedway, and it was fantastic because at that stage in my life I was solely focused on doing my hobbies, and the jobs that I had, I genuinely did not care about them. All I cared about was going to work, doing the job, getting a paycheck, and then at the weekends going and doing my racing, and that was it. And I would arguably say that point in my life was the happiest I'd ever been. Now, don't get me wrong, I was young as well, so I didn't exactly have many, like, massive responsibilities, you know. I was still young, so I was living with my parents at the time. I was living with my dad, so it wasn't like I had to worry about paying rent, or, you know, I had to pay, like, big money, but it was very, very small. My, you know, outgoings were a lot smaller, and I didn't have much responsibility, so that is probably another reason why I was so, you know, happy. But at the same time, I would say I was mainly happy because I was doing the things I enjoyed doing. Whereas, as I got older, I gave up speedway, I gave up the super stock, I gave up motorcycles in general. I didn't have a motorcycle for a few years because I had to give it up, and I worked 6 days out of the week. I would argue it was the only thing giving me purpose at the time because I didn't have hobbies. The only thing that gave me a drive was work. However, I do feel like now I have taken the correct steps to get me where I want to be, and I'm taking one step at a time, and each week I'm getting one step closer to the goal that I want to achieve, and that goal just being feeling content with myself, content with the work that I'm doing, and also content with my passions and hobbies, and not feeling guilty for doing them. I hope you've enjoyed watching me unravel my thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed watching me ride my motorbike through Glasgow. Now, for those who have stuck around, thank you very much. I will be starting the Harley Davidson project in the next video. That will be the next thing I'm going to be doing, so stick around for that. It's going to be pretty exciting, actually. I'm really looking forward to it. I have things in place now for it. We're going to do the first strip down of the bike, and we're going to take it back to the bare frame, everything off it, strip it down, and we're going to start cleaning it up and getting ready for paint. And I'm going to make it a nice, easy to watch video as well. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next video, and yeah, cheers.